Hello all, this is Mark Dodd from Mark Dodd Photography. Hopefully I've got it right this time, so sorry if any of you saw this sort of pop up before. I'm actually using some software that I needed to reconfigure, and took me a little while to get it right. But anyway, what I'm hoping to do tonight is a demo of a new product that's coming out this month called Photolemur. It is a auto and photo enhancement product. It's designed, let me actually, if you go to my website, we can scroll down to the actual post. It has a little bit more about it. This is it, Photolemur. It's a new approach that they're going to try to use computer AI and machine learning technology to evaluate your photo and try and pick out the best parts of your photo to improve your photo. It's touted as one of the world's first automatic photo enhance solutions. As you can see, it's like here, they're trying to cover a bunch of things. Like their features currently included, and they're planning on adding quite a few. As you can read from the list, are color recovery, sky enhancement, exposure compensation, smart dehaze, natural light, foliage, noise, tint, and it does do raw processing, so it does accept raw files. Eventually it's going to batch process up to 40 photos. There's going to be an Apple Photos extension and do face recognition. I will say, because this is a beta, actually, I just realized you're not seeing my website, so let me get that actually up here so you're seeing what I'm seeing. All right, so let's go back. So this is the product here, Photolemur. And this was the list of features that I was just reading. But to go back to, actually, hold on a second. I'm going to make sure it's actually gone live, and so I can see and answer your questions when they come up. If you do have questions, go ahead and ask them. I do have my iPad over here that will let me see your questions as you come on. But back to what I was saying, I am currently running the beta version of it. So there are some caveats to this right now. The current version does not do the face retouching or the face recognition. So I'm not going to be able to show you that tonight. And normally I don't have those kinds of photos anyway. Sort of more of a take everything but non-people kind of person. But for those that do selfies or portraits that want to use this program, it will be built into it at a future date. On this beta, it doesn't currently support that. The other limit I've got is you can only process up to 20 photos at a time, instead of the 40 that they're expecting it to do. And let's see what else they're saying about the beta. Currently works better in RAW files versus JPEG, especially when those JPEGs are very low quality or resolution. It's like maybe some of the older phones, for example, would not work too well in the beta version right now. All mine are going to be taken with either my Nikon D80 or my new Fuji T2, so I shouldn't have that problem. Let's see if there's anything else that I need to say. The list price for this product will be $49, but as you can see right now, up until December 17th, you can get the Photolemur for the Mac product plus Lens Flare Studio, which is normally $30 by itself, for a special price of $29. If you do buy it at this pre-order price, since the program isn't out now, you will get the perpetual license for Photolemur. To get that special deal, just go to Mark Dodd Photography, scroll down the page, like this will be the top of the page here, scroll down the page until you get to the Photolemur posts, and then go ahead and click on the Visit Photolemur site to order and get more details if you want more details than what I'm telling you, because they have an excellent FAQ section in there. Just as a disclosure, I am an affiliate of Photolemur. Basically what that means is if you do buy through my link, I may get a small percentage of the sale. This doesn't cost you anything. In fact, like most of my other affiliate programs, more than likely you will actually get the best deal possible through my link. Sorry, so enough of the website for now. Let's go in and see what the program looks like. I've already opened, well actually, let me just preface, I am running on an older MacBook Pro 15-inch, and I'm also running my recording software at the same time. So keep that in mind when you see the performance. That, and this is the beta product, so it might be a little bit slow on this system. But here's the main interface once you've opened up the program. When you open up the program, it does ask for your email address and password that you registered with Photolemur. That's how they're doing the licensing, and I expect that's how they will do the licensing on the full version when it comes up. But as you can see, it's a pretty simple interface. We've got the option to load your photos. You can change the view of how big it is on your screen. By default, it's set to show 100% of your photo. Then we've got the other buttons over here of this will show you your original photo. Actually, let me click on it so we can hover over it. So that's a quick preview. It shows you back to your original photo. This one will be compare of your original versus what their changes are. On this one, you can crop and rotate a little bit of your image. And then we've got the everybody's favorite share button over here, of which you can, if it will click for me. I'm not sure why it's not clicking right now. Oh, that's because I don't have any photos in here, that's why. So let me get photos in here first. Sorry if anybody's asking questions, my iPad's a little slow at the moment. Anyway, so there's a couple different ways you can load it in. As you can see, you can drag the images right on top of the program and it will load the images in for you. Or you can click the load button here and go and locate your photo. They do also have this menu option up here where you can click load photos here and then go locate your photos, the same as this option over here. I think this actually stays up all the time, so you can go to this and choose load and it will go and load your photos and open up the program for you. It does say or drag image here. I have not gotten that to work yet. I'm not sure if that's my issue or the beta issue. But we'll figure that one out later on. Now let's see. So you can actually go to your profile, and this is where you can actually log out if you want to. But for now, we'll go back here. I've got a couple demo files that I've got. The ones that I have here are the NEF is a raw file from my Nikon. I've got a couple JPEGs from my Fuji X-T2. And this is the Fuji raw file. It's not showing the image right now because currently Mac itself doesn't have the camera support, but Photolemur does support the raw format for the X-T2 and up to 800 other cameras. So I'm just going to drag these over. And why it's bringing them in, I'll just check. See if anybody's on and see if anybody's got any questions. It will take a little bit again because I've got my recording software running, as well as this is an older machine, so we'll see how it works out. But again, that deal for Photolemur plus Lensfare Studio for $29 runs until December 17th. That is their current expectation of when they're going to release the software. So far it looks pretty good. I've only tried it one time so far, but we'll see how this works in a moment once we get everything up and running. Well, the other thing I should mention down below is where if you loaded one or more pictures, they're going to show up down here at the bottom. Because it does have that batch processing feature, you can, if you had a whole series of pictures that were taken at the same location on the same subject, and you wanted to make changes to all of them at the same time, you'd select all of those images that you wanted to change. Well, actually, take that back. You'd load just those images, and it would show up here at the bottom, all those images, and we'll have an option to change all of them at one time. But I just have to finish waiting for it to process. What it's doing while it's processing the images, it's evaluating what's in the image pixel by pixel to try and figure out how best to adjust the image to get the best quality out of it. So now we're loading our thumbnails. So this is where I was saying we've got the thumbnails down here at the bottom of all the pictures that I had loaded in. Right now there's a limit of 20. In the future they're saying that it's going to be up to 40. I will say it's like these three here that you can see, they're obviously taken at the same location. The drawback is one of these is going to be a JPEG. This one's a Fuji RAW, and this one is my Nikon RAW. I suspect, I mean, it might be okay, but I suspect you're going to want to try and only load in the same format if you were going to do the batch process of apply to all. But anyway, so once you've opened up a picture, it will select the first picture in your series that you see and then give you the before and after. It may be a little hard to tell on your screen, but there is a bit of a difference. So if I slide this back and forth, you'll notice how the green in the trees has come out more here. It's brought in some of the shadows in here. It's brightened up the shadows for me. And you can actually see here, you can actually see the details of the trees in the window, which is a little bit hard to see here. You just see the shadows, but in here, you now actually see the green. So the program's looking at the entire picture and all the pixels in that picture and trying to come up with the best adjustment for that pixel, whether to brighten it, to darken it, to make it more vivid, turn up the color, turn down the color. It's doing all of that for you. So let's do the preview. This shows you the image before it was adjusted, and this would be after. And now since I click the before and after icon up here to take the before and after away, it's now showing me the total after picture. And if I wanted to see the total before, so you can see that there's a pretty good difference here. It's like you'll notice on the edges, this camera had a bit of a vignette on the edges just from the way my lens was at the time. This was a 18 to 135 telephoto zoom lens, and it's on its widest. It has a little bit of a vignette to it, but you can see how it's brought up all the bushes that you see here in the corner, in the pot in the corner there. So we'll go back to the compare again, so you can just compare the two. All right, so say I liked it the way it is. I would just go ahead and choose my export it to whatever. If I wanted to share it on Facebook, I could share it on Facebook, or I could send it in an email, Twitter, that's iMessage actually, or I could save it actually out to a folder. We'll do that in a few minutes. But the other thing we wanted to say is you do have some adjustments on the color down here. Like if you wanted to make it much more vivid, you can slide it up. It's still processing it because you can see the little processing bar at the top. But see how it's made everything much more vivid in colors. It's brightened up the colors and made them a bit more intense. Just for comparison, we'll go all the way up just to show you what it does. But nah. All right, so say we wanted to go the other way. We wanted to go a little bit more realistic, so we can bring it back some more. It doesn't brighten things up as much as it did on the middle. Let's go back to the middle here just for comparison. Well, actually, that changed it a bit. So let's go back down here. Let's see the difference again. Not much of a difference. If I brought it all the way down, the colors aren't as vivid, hence more realistic versus vivid. But you still see how it's brightened up the image. And my preference on my screen, I'm not quite sure how well it's showing up for your feed, but this is much brighter than I would like it, so I'm going to bring this back some more. Let's see how it looks. Bring it back a little bit more, because I liked a little bit more, the blacks to come out a little bit more. All right, so let's take a comparison on this guy. Again, it's still bringing out the shadows for me and brightening up or adding a bit of contrast. See right on the sidewalk right there in the middle and the steps. See how it brightened up those steps and made them more sharper and clear. I like that a lot. So let's see, I'm going to bring it back to the middle because I think I actually like the default setting. Maybe a little bit more vivid. Give it a bit of a punch. So yeah, all right. So we'll just look at the whole picture. So that's the whole view enhanced versus what my original was. See how everything sort of goes dark. Seems to be a bit of a bug there. It's like it won't stay on it, but that's fine. This is beta software. Do remember that. But I still think it's doing a pretty good job for being beta. So we'll go into the crop section just to show you what the options are in here. You can crop your image as much as you want. So we'll bring it up. Right now it defaults to freeform, which means you can slide this whatever way you want, whatever part you want. That's not a problem actually. So if you want to go to a standard size or a particular format, 16:9 is your HD widescreen format that you normally have. 3:2 would be your 4:6 picture. The 4:3 would be your 8:10 size. This one, let's see if I can do it. Or you can go back to the original size too, so we'll do that. But actually, I'm going to crop this to 8:10 size. Because I know I wanted to crop it in anyway, but I want to get the steps right there in the middle. It's supposed to auto level. I'm going to have to look at the original picture here real quick to see if it was out of level or not. So we'll just bring up the original outside of the application. Oops, there we go. And I actually think that it was just a little bit off, but looks like the program's fixed it for me. Like, to me, it looks like it's leaning just a little bit left to right. But this is the original image here, straight out of the camera. And that's what we're seeing inside of Photolemur. So let me just hide this. All right, so And I'd say that's what I would like to keep. So I'm going to go ahead and crop it. But if you wanted to change the angles, you click on the angle button here. Again, I apologize for this being a little bit slow, but I am running my recording software at the same time. So right when you click on the angle button, if it comes back up again, you'll see you got a slider option up here. You can slide it whichever way you want, and it gives you the cross hatch pattern to help you adjust the lineup. I mean, I think it did a pretty good job to begin with, but if you wanted to, say you knew you needed to rotate it 45 degrees, you could do that just by typing the numbers in. I'm going to put it back to 0 because I don't think it needed any adjustments at all. So I'm going to go ahead and crop this. That's cropped to, and you can see the processing bar up here. This gives you an indication that it's actually doing something still. So it's cropped it. I'm a little bit more vivid. So it's showing my final image here. And again, if I want to compare, I can just click the compare button to go back and forth. But looks like they're putting Facebook up here by default as the primary one. I don't know if we can change that or not. Let me see if we can. It doesn't look like we have option to do that. But the first thing, I'm going to do this. I'd recommend others do it as well. It's like if you want to be able to, you want to keep a copy local just in case something like if the program crashes, for example. But this gives you an idea what formats you can save in. By default, it's JPEG, but you got PNG, TIFF, Photoshop, PDF. I actually don't know what OpenEXR is, or these other formats down here. This one obviously might be related to Windows, which actually does bring up one point. They are planning on this version here, and the one that's coming out on the 17th is for Mac only. They have told me that they are going to create a Windows version sometime in 2017, but at this point they don't exactly have any dates to announce. So this one I'm going to save as I want to save it as a PNG because that way I don't have to worry about the quality. I can go ahead and save it in the same folder, or on a Mac you can actually create a new one. So I'm just going to call changed files, just so I don't overwrite anything. Looks like we can change the color space if you want. I'm just going to leave it at the sRGB, but you could change it to Adobe or Pro Photo if you needed to. I'm going to go ahead and save that. It will take a moment here. While it's doing that, I'm going to go check on my feed here real quick. See if anybody's got any questions. All right, so it saved the photo. Let me just get back to my feed just in case somebody's watching. All right, so now that it's saved, I'm going to actually go ahead and post this one up to Facebook. Just from my previous experience when I tried it earlier, this may take a little while. Again, it's mostly because I'm doing the recording on the same machine, and this is an older machine. The minimum system requirements, I will go back to that page and show you what those are before we leave. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to show you about it, but I've only used this twice so far, and I'm very happy with it. All right, so it said it's already going to create the post. We'll actually make this one public, and we'll leave the it's gonna put the hashtag for itself, but I'm gonna leave that there. That's fine. That's not a problem. So just type your comments. If you want to, you can add a location. Let me see if it'll actually let me add. No, that's not what I want. I do not want any of that. So we will turn that off. Let me just put a few other tags here. And we will save this. It looks like I do have a page on Facebook for Mark Dodd Photography, but this looks like it's going to post to my personal timeline and not to the page. It doesn't look like it actually gives me the option of choosing where to actually post it. It's just going to post it to Facebook. I have a feeling it's using the Mac OS settings for Facebook. Let me actually just go into my system preferences just to see why that's posting. Because on Mac OS you have internet accounts, and one of those internet accounts that you can set is Facebook. And yes, that is my personal account. So at this point, it should be up on my regular Facebook page. I'm going to go there and actually make sure that it did post. Just doing this in another window for the moment. And I'll bring it down if it actually did do that. But this image was a Nikon RAW file. Again, during the beta period, they're saying that the RAW files will produce better images. And there it is on my Facebook page. If I can get that to show up now. I just got to drag it back down. Where did you go? Ah, it didn't quite go off my other monitor. Sorry. So there's a picture that I just did in Photolemur and posted it straight to Facebook. We'll just minimize that for the moment. So let's go try another one. Like this one here was a JPEG image. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is a RAW file. It tells you your file information up here. Like that's a file name and the extension. And like I was showing you here before, NEF is Nikon's RAW file format. I'm actually going to go to a JPEG there. Like, these were both taken. This is basically the same shot in the Nikon camera. It's like this is the RAW format, and this was the JPEG straight out of the Fuji X-T2. Like most cameras that do RAW and JPEG, the JPEG picture that you will see come out of the camera is what the camera thinks is the best version of that picture for the settings that you had taken that picture with. Whereas with raw photos contain a lot more light information, and as such they are going to look different, as you can see. Like this one's a little bit more vivid already. This one's a little bit dull. I find, depending upon the raw processor built into the application, most of them the raw comes out a little bit more dull, but it's because it has a whole lot more light stored in the picture. It's got a bigger range from darks to lights. In this case, it has a little bit more light. So let's try and adjust this one a bit. So we'll take it from the middle and we'll bring up the vivid a bit more. And we'll see if we'll punch it all the way on this one just to see how it looks. But for the raw on this right now, it's like on this particular picture, to me it's making it look like it makes it a little bit too bright. That might just be my opinion. Let me see if I got the brightness turned up a little bit too much on my screen. No. But it's still a very sharp, clear picture. So let's actually go in and zoom in a bit. And we'll come up to the trees. Again, apologize for the delay. This is more likely just because my computer is going to town right now. I don't know if you can see it, but that's my CPU or disk usage, and my CPU usage is rather high right now. So, all right, this is going to take a bit too long, so we'll bring it back up. But I'll go do the JPEG image. As I noted in the beginning, they said JPEG images of low quality will not come out too well. This one is a 10 megapixel picture, as you can see up here on the left. So it can adjust this one fairly well. I do like the look of this one already, actually. Let me see if I can bring out the sky a little bit more. Let's see what it does. We'll do the split. Yeah, it's already. I mean, it's not done yet, but see how it's. You got this grayish looking rock over here, and it actually really was a little bit green because it is in the sun a lot. So it's got a little bit of moss growing on it. So that's closer to what it actually was. So I think it's still a very clean, sharp picture, especially for the JPEG. So I think it did a nice job. All right, I'm gonna go. This is one of my later pictures. This one does. Look at the sky in this one. It's like you can see, like here's like you're sort of losing the cloud definition that you see here. But when you go to the Photolemur version, you can actually see the differences in the clouds, which is what was actually there. So let's see if we can bring this one down a little bit more on the realistic side, and let's see what we get. Losing a little bit of light, maybe. I don't know. Something blinked. But this is a JPEG from my XT2 as well. But yeah, I think it's doing a very good job. It's getting a lot of the definition here in the corner. And again, when you click the share button, you can save it to the folder from right here. So I'm actually going to save this one. We'll do it as a PNG as well. We'll save it there. anybody got any questions, just let me know or type them in. I will try and answer them. This program is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's very basic, which is what it's intended to be. It's intended to look and evaluate your picture and using machine intelligence and the AI to evaluate each pixel in your picture and bring the best potential out of that pixel. Bring the best out into your picture. And I think it's actually a very good job of that. And you can't beat the price right now. It's $29, and you get the lens flare studio along with it. And that by itself is $30 just by itself. All right, so I have to wait for this to finish, and hopefully I didn't freeze on my recording. All right, I'm gonna actually cancel this export because it's just slowing me down a little bit here. Because I've already exported and you saw how to do that, and I've done the share to Facebook. So we'll just go back. So again, this is Photolemur for the Mac. It's going to be shipping around December 17th. Up until December 17th, you can get it for the low price of $29. Bring up my web page again, hopefully. I haven't lost you. There we go. All right. Now I'm on the computer. I doubt you can hear me right now, so I'm just waiting for my computer to come back. There we go. All right, it looks like I'm back now. I'm just going to quit the Photolemur site. But anyway, to get the details on this program and to pre-order, or if you want to follow my link to the website for Photolemur,